Copy.
Deandre Booker, can you hear the court?
Hey, judge is asking you if you can hear the court.
Your Honor, it's obvious to me that
The clump of hair, where was that found?
That was found in one of the pieces in the drain.
In the tub drain?
Yes.
And you found that?
Yes.
And People's Exhibit 67, actually strike that, let me say this. So we talked about this clump of hair. Did you find anything else in the drain?
Yes.
What did you find?
I also found what is suspected to be a bullet fragment.
So we're looking at People's Exhibit 67. What is this?
That is the suspected bullet fragment that I found inside the bathtub drain.
12:35 p.m. UTC time. What was it about that search that caused your suspicion arrest?
He, quote, searched, telling God I want to kill someone. I felt that was very relevant.
And now we have three of them on 12:29 at 4:22. Why were those important to you?
9mm silencer, Roseville, 9mm silencer, Roseville, Michigan, 9mm silencer, Roseville, Michigan. That would be very relevant. Silencer is a tool that is commonly used to, baffle the sound of a firearm.
Sorry, Bob, would you let Mr. Hirschman come through, please? Thank you. Go ahead.
Silencers is a accessory that would be fixed on the muzzle of a firearm that baffles the sound. So if you were intending to commit a crime and you did not want as many witnesses to potentially hear the gunshot, a silencer would be an appropriate tool.
Now, later that day, a couple hours later, 12:29 at 6:34. Why that one?
Murder out of rage X. I did know the victim was an ex-girlfriend. That felt relevant to me.
All right, now,
This case chills me because it's so modern. It makes you look at your own phone differently. Because in this story, the killer's most damning witness wasn't a person. It was his own digital ghost. It wasn't a scream that started this investigation. It was a search history. In the days before mother of two, Ashley Elkins vanished, someone typed a series of questions into her ex-boyfriend's phone. Is blood traceable? How to beat a polygraph? What happens to trash after it's picked up? This is not a story that begins with a body. It begins with data. A digital blueprint for a crime. Ashley's last moments weren't witnessed by a person, but they were silently recorded by apps, cameras, and GPS pings. Before we unravel how a missing persons case became a digital murder puzzle, I need you to do something for me. Get comfortable, but pay close attention. The devil and the truth is in the details here. And to our True Crime Unraveled family on YouTube and True Crime Unraveled TV on Facebook and TikTok, you are the heart of this channel. We see every comment, we read every theory, and we are so grateful you're here. If you're new, you need to be part of this. Hit subscribe and that notification bell right now. What you're about to hear is a masterclass in how police built a murder case without a body, using the suspect's own digital footprint as their guide. Ashley Elkins was the light. A hairstylist building her own business from her Warren, Michigan home, she was a devoted mom to two young boys. Her relationship with Deandre Booker had ended months before. It wasn't a dramatic, loud breakup, but it was final. She'd blocked him. So when he showed up at her door on New Year's Eve using a fake name to book a hair appointment, it was a red flag she and her sister heeded. They stayed quiet inside.
The day he came to the house, he acted like he was a client, and he made an appointment with her. She was expecting a client. It was him. And they were in the house quiet. She told him to be quiet. He knocked on the front door and the side door, and then he left. And then here is 2 days later, she's gone.
He left. 2 days later, on January 2nd, 2025, Ashley went out for errands. Her mother, Monica, had a bad feeling. A nightmare about Ashley's car being stolen prompted a text. The reply that came back was two cold, uncharacteristic words. "Aw, the man." Then silence. The family's nightmare was just beginning. Using Find My iPhone, they saw the last location, Deandre Booker's apartment in Roseville. Her car was found days later, abandoned. The police had a suspect, but they had no Ashley. What they did have, once they obtained a warrant, was Deandre Booker's digital world. And it was screaming guilt. The searches painted a picture of premeditation and panic, firing a weapon through a pillow. Can you track location when the phone is off? Delete Google's search history. But the most damning piece of digital evidence wasn't a search. It was a delivery. At 11:46 p.m. on the night Ashley vanished, a DoorDash order was placed from Booker's apartment. The items? Bleach, latex gloves, heavy-duty garbage bags. Who orders cleaning supplies via delivery at midnight unless they have a catastrophic mess that can't wait until morning? When police entered Deandre Booker's apartment, the smell hit them first. Overpowering bleach. The bathroom was ground zero. A missing shower curtain. A drain that, when taken apart by plumbers, would yield a clump of hair, a silver hoop earring, and a bullet fragment. Luminol would later reveal a hidden galaxy of blood spatter on the walls and floor. This was a cleanup job. A sloppy one.
Okay, so on the screen we see People's Exhibit 64. What are we looking at here?
So this was the piece of drywall that had to be taken out to get to the back of the tub drain inside the apartment.
Who removed the drywall?
The plumber.
Were you there when they removed it
Correct.
in the room?
Yes.
Did you watch them do it?
Yes.
So when they removed the drywall and the drain, were you able to see that whole process?
Yes, I was standing right there in the kitchen with them.
All right, this is People's Exhibit 65. What are we looking at here?
These are all of the different pieces of the drain that were taken out from the bathtub.
Okay, this is just the bathtub drain?
This is just the bathtub.
And People's Exhibit 66. What do we see here?
This was a clump of hair that was found in one of the pieces of the bathtub drain.
So when the drain was removed, who disassembled it?
The plumber disassembled it and handed it to me piece by piece. And
you viewed that whole process?
yes,
So this, in People's Exhibit 66, the clump of hair, where was that found?
that was found in one of the pieces in the drain.
In the tub drain?
Yes,
And who, you found that?
yes.
And People's Exhibit 67, actually strike that, let me say this. So we talked about this clump of hair. Did you find anything else in the drain?
Yes.
What did you find?
I also found what is suspected to be a bullet fragment.
So we're looking at People's Exhibit 67. What is this?
That is the suspected bullet fragment that I found inside the bathtub drain.
And this is People's Exhibit 68. What is this?
That is the same suspected fragment with a measurement there.
And then People's Exhibit 69.
Just a different angle on the same suspected bullet fragment.
And it looks as if this is just a different view of it. So when you say suspected bullet fragment, what led you to believe it could have potentially been a bullet?
I have dealt with several bullet fragments in the past. It's something that we see unfortunately quite often. And it was heavy, appeared to be lead based. So it led me to believe that it was a bullet fragment.
Is there anything on this angle that could have indicated that it was a bullet?
You can, from the back, you can see that there looks like possibly like a, I want to call it a puncture mark, but a mark on the back of it where it may have been like a striker, something like that may have hit.
All right. Anything else you found in the drain?
Yes.
What else?
An earring was found inside the drain.
Okay. So People's Exhibit 70, what are we looking at?
This is the earring that was found inside the bathtub drain.
And can you describe the earring?
Yeah, it was a silver looking hooped style earring. Would appear to have I don't know if they were diamonds themselves, but what we're looking as diamonds across the front of it.
And this is People's Exhibit 71. Can you tell us what this is?
This is all of the water that was drained from inside of each of the pipes from inside of the house.
Okay, so so the pipes were removed and then the water was just poured into this container?
The water was removed. It was originally put into a 5-gallon bucket on scene because that's what I had. We did not have a top for it, so I put it into one of our paint cans that we use for evidence because they can be sealed shut.
And are all 3 of the drains were poured into one bucket?
Yes.
That's this bucket?
Yes.
And then People's Exhibit 72, what's this?
That is the bucket after all of the water has been put into it.
And that's sealed? Are
It
you able to tell?
does not look like it is sealed yet. That was prior to me sealing it, I believe.
Okay. So, aside from the clump of hair, the earring, and the possible gun bullet fragment, did you find anything else of note in any of those drains?
No.
What did you do with those 3 items?
All 3 items were tagged and placed into evidence.
I have nothing further at this time, ma'am.
Thank you.
But the story wasn't just inside the apartment. It was in the parking lot. Surveillance footage tells a chilling, silent story. We see Ashley arrive that morning. Then, hours later, we see a figure, clothing matching what Booker owned, making trip after trip to the dumpster, carrying bags, a box. In the dead of night, just before 5 a.m., the most haunting sequence, a figure struggles with a heavy, bulky object in a shopping cart, straining to heave it into a dumpster. This is the moment, prosecutors would argue, Ashley Elkins was disposed of. But the video held another mystery. A young woman, not Ashley, is seen getting into Ashley's car and driving it away. Who was she? An accomplice? This is where Booker's plan gets even more calculating. Her name was Peyton Barksdale. She was his niece. In court testimony, she explained he'd called her, lied, said a coworker needed a car moved. He sent her an Uber, had her drive the Malibu to a different lot.
He called me and he said that he needed his friend's vehicle to be removed from his apartment complex because he didn't want to get in trouble.
Now, his apartment complex, had you ever been there before?
No, that was my first time.
Do you know the address?
No, I do not.
Do you know what city it's in?
Roseville?
So he called you and said he needed help with moving a car, is that what you're saying?
Yes. It was a coworker. It was a male coworker. He said that he had went to his house. The car wasn't registered, so it didn't have any plates. He had just bought the vehicle. He didn't have a license, and so with me having a license, he wanted me to drive it to his coworker's house. He said the cops was hot in the area, so me having a license, if I was to get pulled over, I wouldn't be in trouble.
Okay.
So that was.
So at some point on January 2nd of this year, did you go to the defendant's apartment?
Yes, he requested Uber.
Who requested it?
Deandre requested Uber from me, from my apartment to go to his apartment.
He even had her stop at a beauty supply store, likely to ping Ashley's phone at a location far from his apartment. He used his own niece, a young woman who trusted him, as a tool in his cover-up. He asked her, if you turn a phone off, will anyone still see a location?
And then he asked me, if you turn a phone off, will anyone still see your location? I said, whatever location the phone was at before the phone was turned off, then yes. And then he asked if him and I could share locations.
So when he asked you this was after you were at Kelly Beauty with the defendant, correct?
Yes.
She was an unwitting puppet, and her testimony shattered any claim of innocence. The physical evidence was mounting. Ashley's DNA was found in blood traces in the dumpster. The digital evidence was a ledger of guilt.
What do we have here in 74?
That is the dumpster that I visited for inspection.
What is it, when you saw this dumpster, what caused you to investigate that specific one?
It was specific the time and location in question, given all the information we had. The fact that the video, even though it wasn't clear and it was dark, it was clear to me that the person putting whatever it was in that dumpster was struggling, which anyone who's had experience lifting a person, it is difficult if they're limp to move them around. It would take a lot of effort to get them out. It would be difficult, and it's not surprising to see that it took that long, if that in fact what was going on.
And I see that there is yellow tape on this dumpster. Who did that?
I did.
When you were investigating the dumpsters in Eastgate, did you tape them off in any way?
No.
What was it about this dumpster? What specifically did you observe that made you want to put the yellow tape on this dumpster?
When I looked in and down, I saw what was absolutely certain to me to be blood from my training and experience.
Let's go to 75.
The blood was at the bottom.
Let's go to 75 here. Same dumpster, different angles, is that fair to say?
Yes.
76. What are we looking at here, sir?
The most visible, in my recollection, to the lower left was blood, some of it coagulated, which often happens when the person or animal that's bleeding was in place for a while. And we can believe the person, or whatever it was there previously.
Let's go to 77. What do we have here?
Yes, just a different view of the same thing. A pool of blood that's somewhat coagulated.
Why are the placards there, sir?
That would have been placed by an evidence tech. I did not place them.
I see. 78, close-up, is that fair to say?
Yes.
79, further close-up?
Correct.
And then 80?
Yes, same thing.
Close-up, all right, thank you. Now, after you secured the dumpster and it was processed, what did you do next?
I secured the dumpster until I was relieved by Officer Jackson, who continued to secure it. To my knowledge, never left until an evidence tech arrived. And then after that, I was directed to go to Motor City Pawn. Lieutenant Beamer informed me there may be security footage of the suspect passing through that area.
The witness testimony closed the loop. Police theory was clear. Ashley was killed in that bathroom, dismembered, and her remains taken to a landfill. A massive, days-long search of the Pine Tree Acres landfill commenced. They sifted through 6 acres of trash. They found items for testing, but they did not find Ashley Elkins.
Well, we got some objects we are taking back for processing. We're not sure if they're related to the case or not, so we got to do some more work on that. I think we're in the right spot. We just got more work ahead of us.
So, could a murder case stick? It moved to a preliminary hearing where a judge decides if there's enough evidence for trial. And Deandre Booker's response was a spectacle.
We're starting so late is because we currently have a very disruptive defendant. He is at court. He's not in the courtroom, however, because of his behavior. That's what I'm told. Also, apparently some threats were made earlier, and that's why he's not in the courtroom right now. He is in lockup. Thank you.
I would ask that, if we unmute so he can, if he will, acknowledge that he's listening. If not, my suggestion would be to very briefly put the video feed onto him just for purposes of Your Honor being able to identify him as physically being present on the record, and then the rest can be by audio.
Thank you.
Based upon what I've been told by the jail officers and what I saw personally when I went back there, it's my understanding that he was uncooperative in getting dressed into like the jail uniform that inmates usually appear in court in, and that the only thing that they have covering some of his body looks to me like some kind of a blanket or whatever, so I don't think he's in any appropriate state of dress to be in the courtroom or even shown on video. Other than, I think, just briefly to identify him for purposes of the record.
Thank you. Deandre Booker, can you hear the court?
And judge is asking you if you can hear him.
Your Honor, it's obvious to me that Mr. Booker is in the cell. He's not making himself available for visibility purposes. And I can let the court know that based upon my conversations and meetings with Mr. Booker.
Just 1 second, please. It's real clear to the court that Mr. Booker is screaming. He's in the jail cell. Rather than just listen to that, I don't know if you can hear us there, but if you would have him muted, please.
We got it.
Thank you. Judge, thank you. Can you unmute him so that I can speak with him for a moment, please?
He's unmuted, Judge.
Thank you. Deandre Booker, this is the judge. I just want to inform you that you do have a right to be present in court. You have a constitutional right to be here with your attorney. I'll ask you, are you waiving that right? You can mute him, please. Thank you. Let the record reflect that his behavior is the same. He's screaming and yelling. He can't hear us and he can see us, so we are going to proceed without him being physically in the courtroom, though.
No objection, Judge.
Well, I'm assuming the video now can be blacked out.
Yeah, we can black out the video of him, but he can see the court.
Correct.
This is where the videos you've seen come in. He refused to come out of his cell. When forced onto a Zoom feed, he appeared wrapped in a blanket, screaming profanities until the judge muted him. He staged a bizarre, disruptive performance. The judge finally ruled he had forfeited his right to be present. His own behavior became another piece of evidence against him, a refusal to face the mountain of facts. The prosecution presented over 200 pieces of evidence. A wall of circumstantial proof so high, they argued, it left no room for any other conclusion. In September 2025, the judge agreed. Deandre Booker was bound over for trial on charges of first-degree premeditated murder. The family had justice in the law's eyes, but not in their hearts. Ashley's mother, Monica, gave voice to their enduring agony. He threw my daughter in the garbage like trash. She was nothing. He thought she was nobody. The ultimate cruelty was the theft of closure. So, we're left with the haunting core of this case. Can you convict someone of murder when the victim is lost? The answer here was yes. Not with a smoking gun, but with a digital paper trail. This is a new kind of crime scene. The weapon wasn't just a bullet. It was a thought typed into a search bar. The accomplice wasn't a person. It was a delivery app. The witness wasn't an eyewitness. It was a timestamp surveillance clip. Ashley Elkins was reduced to data points by her killer. But in the end, those same data points, his own, became the shackles that bound him. He tried to erase a person, but he didn't know how to erase himself from the digital world he lived in. What do you think? Can a purely circumstantial case ever feel like true justice? Or does the lack of a body leave a hole that a guilty verdict can never fill? Let's have this conversation. Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. We at True Crime Unraveled read every single one, and we appreciate this community more than you know. If this deep dive into the digital heart of a murder case held your attention, please show the algorithm you were here. Give this video a thumbs up. It truly helps us grow and tackle more complex stories like this. To make sure you never miss one, subscribe to True Crime Unraveled on YouTube and follow True Crime Unraveled TV on Facebook and TikTok. Stay curious and stay safe.
Give us just a reaction of what you saw in court today. I know this, I can't even imagine.
I just really had no bond. I think it's good he got the bond. I just didn't want him a bond at all, you know. I just want him not to be able to get out at all. I just want to go straight to prison and just never get out ever again.
I know that they asked for $500,000 and the judge lowered it. How do you feel about that?
I didn't like that. She should have did $500,000, but I can set $250,000. But, you know, which could have been higher or no bond at all.
And you all have had your suspicions about him. Kind of, does this confirm what you were suspecting?
Yes. Yes. I knew it from day one.
Can you tell us about that? Is there a moment that you kind of knew?
When I got to her house, it was 8:40. She left at 8:30. I went in the house for a minute, came back out. I texted her I had a dream of her car being stolen. And she replied back, "Aw, man," which is weird to me. So I FaceTimed her. She didn't answer. So I said to her, you know, just be mindful about your surroundings and, you know, pay attention where you're going. And she didn't call back. That's not like her. And she never called back. And she never texts back. Ever.
Do you think that all man that wasn't like her, do you think that was her answering?
No, that was him. I believe he had her when she walked out that front door.
Does he have any violence or history of violence or anything? You know?
I never knew he was violent, but now that I'm finding out things, I know he was stalking and some things happened, but I found out later from friends first that, yeah.
So you think he was kind of controlling, possessive?
That I know he was, because he would go through her phone, and she was doing hair at home, and he had a problem with men coming in and get their dreads and stuff done. And so she had got a booth somewhere on 8 Mile, so that she wouldn't have any problems with him. Then when they broke up, then she just went back and started doing it from her house.
When did they break up?
I want to say September.
And how long were they dating?
A year.
Can you describe their relationship? Have you been around them when they were
Yeah,
together?
he was around my whole family. When I say I thought he was the one who was going to marry her, just he was good to her kids. He played ball with them. He took me to their haircuts. Ashley's father was murdered also April 8th of last year. He was there for that. He went to, I worked for Stellantis, and we had a Christmas extravaganza last Christmas. He was there.
Formal.
The formal. He was there. He was always at my house. I cooked. He was part of the family. So I'm just really shook that he would do something like this.
Did it give you any hope to hear the prosecutor say that they are still hoping that she's alive?
No.
Yeah, I think, you know, we heard from the chief and the police, and based upon the evidence, you know, there's, you know, reason to believe that she is not. We know the prosecutor is legalese, right, until the body is found. In a courtroom, they're still making those assumptions. But, last night, the family was very clear that, based on the evidence that, and what was shared with us by the police, that, she's deceased at this time.
And I know, have you informed her kids at all of that update?
I know you were just talking about how they're asking for the man.
So yesterday I went and got them. I told this 10-year-old, he just screamed and hollered. And asked why I was supposed to do something like that to his mother because she's so kind. And how she takes care of them. Who's going to take care of them now? And he's supposed to be a chef and he's supposed to buy her house. And he's supposed to cook for her. And they had plans and now it's like he said he's not going to do anything now. He don't want to do anything anymore. And he's asked me questions like, is he going to his dad's or he's got to stay there now? And I don't know. I can't break down. I've been strong this whole time, looking every day from day one. And it's like I can't really lose it because now I got to take care of my grandsons. And so I decided to always just keep being strong. But I get tired and overwhelmed. And I just want to thank everybody who helped me. I'm glad I went on live on Facebook. I'm glad that people share. I'm glad for social media who sent me information about all sorts of things, his family and people he knew and addresses. I thank the media for when you all came out, that y'all were on the ball. Y'all were calling me all the time from day one trying to get it on there. And, we don't speak on why y'all didn't get it. I'm not going to go there. But once it got on, even they would call me and would tell me updates so that I wouldn't see it on social media. Trying to just protect me and protect my family. So I really appreciate that.
Do you have any feelings to just how full that courtroom was? It was no seats. Some reporters couldn't even get in. It was so full with support.
Yeah. I was on social media. I said I felt like I was alone and I didn't have anybody. And everybody showed me I did. That there are still villages out here. And yeah, I'm going to be okay with time. The boys will be okay with time, but it's just heartbreaking. She didn't deserve this. She was really a sweet, even when she was born, she was a child who never cried. And growing up, she didn't do too much. She was real quiet and happy. She was the person that everybody went to, her friends, for advice. And yeah, this is just hard.
She was missing. She's still missing. You still don't know. What would help you right now? What would help you in any way right now?
Just prayers. Just everybody pray that we find her. Just pray. I've looked, so I'm sure that they probably know where she is. They probably still looking for her. That's what I feel. They just gotta find her.
Even if you know in your heart that she's possibly deceased.
I know she is. I knew it because they took too long, so.
You still want to just have your baby home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least we'll lay her to rest, She's my oldest, and I always told them, my kids, to stay close. Because if something happens to me, then she was supposed to take care of them. And I don't know.
Have they described as he being cooperative or is he combative, or have the police told you at all? As far as when they arrested? Oh, no, we don't have any information as it relates to that.
Did he ever reach out to the family at any point as when you guys were talking, trying to figure out where she was?
No.
What would you say to him?
that we accepted him. We accepted you in our family. You met her grandmother, you met her aunt, you met all her father's side of the family. You were good to those boys. You know, you didn't think that how it would affect those boys, the ones you got their haircut, the ones you kept sometimes when she had to run errands, the ones you played ball with, the ones you took to the park. You didn't care about them. It's just sad that he didn't even think about them. I don't know.
Was that an immediate red flag to you that he didn't call when this all started?
No, it was a immediate red flag when she said, oh man, I knew it in my spirit something was wrong. And I knew that he had been there 2 days prior acting like he was a client. He went on her website and booked an appointment to get his hair done, and then he came to her house. He knocked on the front door and the side door, and they didn't let him in. So here he is, 2-3 days later, boom, she's gone. That's sickening.
Can you describe any other stalking type incidents where he was doing that?
I don't know. A friend of hers said that she felt like someone was always following her in her car. Something about another time he tried to make an appointment, but she found it was him, and she called him, and he confessed that it was him, and he just wanted to see her, that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Why did she decide to end it with him, or was it?
When we find out he had like 6 and 7 different pages, like on Facebook, he would have the same people on his page, like responding or replying or, you know, to whatever he posted, which is strange. The same 6 people are not going to always say something. You know, you're going to have different people, different days say things. And that's when we start realizing that something wasn't right with him.
Do you think those were fake or?
Oh, they definitely were.
Yeah.
He was good with computers and doing things on them and making fake pages, making fake documents. We just really didn't know who he was. We thought we knew him, but we really didn't.
Did you know about going AWOL in the military or the other fraud?
We found out that he was in the Army. He did tell her that, and I asked her, did she ever see him with, you know, a picture with her? She said she saw, but didn't know about AWOL. A cousin had said they didn't know. So he was in the Army, and then all of a sudden he was home.
What do you all think of when the prosecutor was going over the misstatements he made to police and his internet search history?
We were aware of some of those statements. If anything, it shows how calculating he was, that this was premeditated, and it shows the monster that he is. I mean, we're still waiting on more information as it relates to that. I'm sure the police knows more than we do. But to hear that, you know, it says a lot about him and the monster that he is.
So you think he planned it out all ahead of time?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Not just, you think not, he didn't just plan it, but he planned to get off. I mean, he's hoping allegedly to pass a polygraph.
Yeah.
Right. That says a lot, right? You're researching how to pass a polygraph. You know, you show up 2 days before and prior. This was no doubt premeditated. I was a prosecutor. I did homicide cases. I mean, this is as premeditated as you can get, right? He planned it every step of the way. It's just, you can't fathom why or why would someone would do this. You're talking about a mother, a 30-year-old mother of 2 children, you know, and she didn't deserve this at all. But everything you heard in that courtroom, just from those messages alone, I think it says a lot about what he did and how this unfolded.
That's good.
Anything else anyone wants to add?
You know, again, we want to thank the media. definitely want to continue to thank the community for their support. Outpouring, I mean, to see all that love and support in the courtroom, it does mean a lot. And ultimately, you know, we want Ashley home. And when I say that, I mean we want her body found. And we know the police are working on that. They're working diligently on that. And we want to move forward. You know, we want justice in this. And, you know, I said this last night. It seems that this case is resonating with a lot of people, probably for a lot of different reasons. We should not have to see our black and brown women murdered. We should not have to deal with boyfriends or husbands attacking their significant others. These are not things that should be happening. This is not normal, right? And we shouldn't accept this as normal. Whether we're police, whether we're everyday people, whether we're prosecutors, whether we're, you know, family members, this is not normal. And this should not have to happen to anyone.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your background? You're a former prosecutor, you said. Where were you a prosecutor in?
Wayne County.
Wayne County?
Yeah.
How many years?
That was, now I'm giving away my age. 98 through 2004, I was with the Mike Duggan administration at that time. I was a chief in the office, a deputy chief. Worked in the homicide unit, so.
You're a civil attorney now?
I do some of everything, right.
Did you ever think you'd be on this side of that attorney-client role?
You know, I was speaking with someone before, no. I mean, once again, I think society grows numb to these things, and you see it on television, you see it in the movies, and you think, wow, that's so sad for them. To be on this side is devastating. It gives you another understanding. You know, it's like, that's why I said this is not normal. It shouldn't be accepted as another occurrence, another, you know, unfortunate female who, you know, went missing and you know, at the hands of their ex or their husband or boyfriend. It just should not be accepted as normal. But it gives you a different understanding being on this side, no doubt.
And he is my daughter's brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's my mother. That was her first granddaughter.
Yeah.
You watched her grow up.
Oh, yeah. We all had a hand in raising her.
And then you embraced this gentleman into your family. How does that make you feel?
I only saw him a few times, but that was her friend, and he came to my house all dressed up for a formal affair, and the stance that he had, and he, you know, I just saw some class in him, but we didn't know who he was. We didn't know.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.